everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. In this short presentation, I want to share how local wisdom, especially Sasi and in Wetar Island and Tarabandu in Timor Leste, can actually become a strong foundation for sustainable marine conservation in the Lesser Sunda seascape. This presentation will be held by Candida Putri Simatukang, me, as Maluku Conservation Officer from Konservasi Indonesia, and Delio da Costa, Project Coordinator, Conservation International from Timor Leste. The Lesser Sunda seascape, one of the coral triangle most important ecological corridors. This region connects diverse marine habitat and support the livelihood of thousands of people who depend on the sea every day. For generations, coastal communities here have protected their waters through traditional stewardship system, rooted in culture, and respect for nature. One of the most enduring example is SASI. SASI is a community-based governance system where certain area or research or resources are temporarily closed to allow recovery and later reopen under traditional rules. This ensures sustainability, fairness, and cultural continuity. In screen, we see opening of SASI in Karang Island. The local people in Wetar say this place is Karang Island, but when we see on the map, the name is Gosong Nautilus. The opening of the SASI is carried out by the church, customary leaders, women group, youth group, and the wider community. Okay, characteristic of SASI, Maluku-based understanding. First, temporary closing and opening of harvesting area governed by customary institution or adat, strong cultural, spiritual, and social value. Ensure sustainability and equity, adapted and diverse across Maluku. Here's marine species governed by SASI. We can see Trocus snail, sea cucumber, giant clam, top shell, jumping shell. And the species managed under SASI are mostly the same across all villages. Delio, your turn.
Yes, hello everyone. I am Delio da Costa. So yeah, as Sasi is in Indonesia and yeah, we in Timor Leste we have a Tarabandu, which is like in Timor Leste, like we see the people's the connectivity or the relationship with the people and the ocean is it's not more than only a source of livelihood, but it's also like a foundation of identity, cultural, and the community resilience. So here in Timor Leste, mostly we use Tarabandu, which is a customary practices in Timor Leste, and also defined as a board term that encompassing from the local law, social norms, and the morality, art, and rituals and the system of the community leadership and the governance. So, in Timor-Leste community is defined the Tarabandu as a traditional and a common practice with the means to reduce or to prevent the conflict, reduce crime, protect the environment or the marine, and the management of natural resource management and improve the community welfare.
Despite its
Sorry,
sorry.
I am still continue because it was like sounding noisy around. So yeah,
Okay.
so Tarabandu is mostly like a traditional customary that mostly used in Timor Leste, which is to regulate the people behavior as well, and they protect natural resource and they maintain the social harmony. So in Timor Leste, this is regulated by the established or the collective by the local leaders in the local authorities levels, which is used them by community to protect the ocean, not forestry or anything that we are going to protect. So if you see the pictures where I put there, like figure, it's like just a symbol, which is like coconut leaf, and then um, like goat horn, but it depends what you are used during the ritual process to establish the Tarabandu process in every MPA that you are established, or any kind of the process that you are going to symbolic making the rules and the regulations. So yeah, this is the point of the Tarabandu. Thank you so much. Chan,
Right.
back to you.
All right, thank you, Delio. Despite its ecological richness, the Lesser Sunda seascape, especially the Ombai Wetar Strait, it's experiencing increasing pressure. We see that Sasi, it has not been well documented because it is an ancestral heritage and the Sasi management area is not yet well mapped, as the Sasi system relies on low tide condition to determine its boundaries and overfishing and climate change.
Yeah, same as in Timor Leste, we see that Arabando how the implication on the ground while we are establishing the MPA. So some of the problem statement that we found is like local wisdom and the traditional ecological knowledge that are central to how coastal community sustainable manage marine resource. But these yet practices are often undervalued or overlooked in the formal conservation strategies. And the second thing is the community, coastal community are rely on the generational wisdom to manage the marine resources, but this also yet not fully integrated into the national strategies. And then marine conservation, marine ecosystem facing growing threats such as overfishing, as the same in Indonesia, and like habitat loss, population pollution, and also climate change that really affected. Yeah, back to you again, Chan.
All right. Our intervention focus on bringing local wisdom, especially Sasi and Tarabandu, into modern marine conservation. Sasi principle are now being considered in marine protected area or MPA management plan and marine spatial planning. This ensure that conservation align with national priority while still honoring local custom. And the second, we documented local rules, ecological knowledge, and traditional practice to better understand how SASI contribute to resource sustainability. Um, this work also prioritize inclusive governance, and then women, youth, and indigenous leaders are involved in monitoring data collection and advocacy. Back to you, Delio.
Yes, some of approach or intervention we trying to elaborate in these presentations, like based on the what we see in the on the ground in the field. It's like integrated no traditional knowledge into the policy. It's also one of the intervention that we want to highlight, which is like to incorporate the local wisdom, customary practices, and the community lead rules and regulation into the national or local conservation framework. So an example is like in Indonesia, so there is a SASI laut, which is really helpful to manage and regulate the NPAs. And in Timor Leste, we have a Tarabandu to combining with the local laws and regulation in the local level and national level to protect the oceans. But we also see the community engagement and the management, which is also highlighted to be like one of the intervention, which is establishing the co-management system where the community governance, local authorities working together in a decision-making process to resource management or focusing on the MPA management. So not only government take a decision alone, but to include all the voices from the ground, which is the community and the local authorities within the government. We can make a decision together. So one of the participatory mapping and monitoring. It is also important to involve the fishermen, local resident in the coastal area for the fishing ground, monitoring the species, identify the cultural importance during the MPA establishment. And capacity building, of course, capacity building for the communities must be really important for the sustainable fishing practices, and also um, marine resource monitoring, climate resilient, and strengthening the community well-being for their livelihood as well. So, strengthening customary marine governance is also one of the key points that we highlighted in this presentation, which is to recognize and support the traditional laws like one of the really example is like we bring here in the presentation is Sasi Laut in Indonesia and also Tarabandu in Timor Leste to protecting the coastal ecosystem and regulation the resource that we use or the community use for their livelihood, and also promote sustainable livelihood, which is also become one of the alternative income that generating activities in the MPA area like an ecotourism, seaweed farming, and sustainable fisheries during the MPA establishment. So this there. Thank you so much, Chan. I back to you again.
All right. Along the way, we encourage several challenges. In Wetar Island, we face challenge from external pressures that affect fisheries, coastal development, and limited documentation of customary practice, very customary structure across villages, and climate variability impacting marine productivity. And despite this challenge, we learn valuable lesson, combining customary governance and scientific data result in stronger conservation outcome, and integrating SASI into formal policy or MPA management, KSNT, blue carbon plans, strengthen long-term protection, and gets inclusion and ensure equitable and sustainable conservation. So conclusion from Indonesia side, SASI, traditional SASI is not merely a tradition. It's a living system of sustainable marine governance. Its integration into modern conservation framework offers a powerful model for the Lesser Sunda seascape and beyond. And the traditional practice like SASI, they are proven system for managing marine resources. And then we have, and moving forward, we recommended strengthen documentation and legal recognition of SASI, integrate SASI into marine spatial planning and blue carbon strategies, enhance community capacity for ecological monitoring, foster Indonesia and Timor Leste cooperation in the transboundary seascape, scale up women and youth leadership in marine stewardship. Delio, back to you for conclusion.
Yeah, thank you so much. So in the conclusion and way forward, I would like to highlight that sustainable marine conservation, especially I'm talking on behalf of Timor Leste, we just cannot rely on the science based only, but it also must build on the wisdom, tradition, and experience of the community who have lived beside to the ocean generations. So local knowledge system, including practices such as Tarabandus, which is often proven that like culturally grounded ways of managing marine resources and protecting the coastal ecosystem. So it's one of the really important by bringing the community wisdom with the modern conservation approach. I think we can create a strategy that are not only ecological effective, but also social inclusive and culturally meaningful. So thank you so much, Chan. Back to you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you so much.
Delio. So thank
Yeah,
you so much, everyone. Obrigado,
yeah.
Danke.